sorting materials into groups. Have you ever wondered how the school librarian finds a particular book immediately, though there are hundreds of books of different subjects in the library? You might have also been surprised with the quickness with which a chemist brings out a particular medicine out of thousands of medicines stored in the shop. Have you not noticed and asked yourself, why does a grocer usually keep all pulses at one place, all types of soap at another single place, and all type of biscuits together in one corner? What difference will it make if the shopkeeper keeps biscuits, soaps, pulses, namkeens and oils all at one place? Back home, why does your mother keep clothes at one place, all utensils at another place, and books in one corner? This chapter will help you learn and understand that this is primarily done to locate a particular object with ease and convenience. You will also learn that objects and materials can be grouped together on the basis of similarities and differences in their properties. Such grouping and classification also helps us in understanding the common properties of materials and hence their utility for making different objects. Diversity of objects. You see a large number of things around yourself. If you are in a classroom, you might see a variety of objects such as tables, chairs, bags, fans, books, notebooks, water bottles, tiffin boxes, doors, windows, blackboard, tube lights, and bulbs. If you are at home, you might see clothes, utensils, bottles, buckets, clocks, dining table, toys, boxes, beds, television, and many other objects. You can easily see that all these objects can be put together in different groups according to the materials they are made of. Activity 1. Mention the discussed objects in the following table in different groups according to the materials these are made of. 3 examples are done for you. Complete the table yourself by adding more objects which you observe in your surroundings. Objects, material. Number 1, books, notebooks, newspaper, diary, calendar, paper. Number 2, table, chair, almirah, stool, door, window, wood. Number 3, water bottle, tiffin box, buckets, plastic.
Metal, cloth, glass.
You can see from the table that there is a variety of materials of which different objects are made of. Some examples of such common materials are wood, plastic, metal, glass, cloth, and paper. Sometimes a single material is used for making different objects. Example, leather is used to make bags, purses, shoes, and belts. Paper is used in books, notebooks, diaries, and calendars. If you observe carefully, it can be seen that sometimes a single object is made of more than one material. Example, some cooking utensils are made of metals with plastic handles and those are made of wood with metal handles. Activity 2. Look at different objects shown and complete the table. 2 examples are done for you. Objects, material of objects. Number 1, pencil, wood, lead, paint. Number 2, school bag, plastic, nylon. Number 3, bicycle. Number 4, mobile phone. Number 5, lampshade. Number 6, umbrella. Matter. When we observe the objects closely, we see that in spite of differences in their properties, all these objects have weight or mass, occupy space, and can be felt through one or more of our sense organs. Matter is anything that occupies space and has a definite mass. It includes all the materials found in the universe. All matter is made up of substances which are further made up of tiny particles. These smallest particles are called atoms. Classification. You must have noticed that you classify things into living and non-living on the basis of certain similarities and dissimilarities within them. Similarly, you can further classify the living things into plants and animals and so on. Activity 3. Observe the pictures carefully and classify things into living and non-living.
Living things, non-living things. Activity 4. Non-living things
Can also be classified on the basis of quality of materials they are made of or on the basis of their uses. Let us perform the following activity. Observe the pictures carefully and complete the table. Things you use while playing, while studying, while eating. In this activity, the basis of grouping the things is that they are used in different activities. Objects can be grouped together on the basis of a variety of considerations. You arrange your school bag, putting all books in one section of the bag, notebooks in another section, and all small size items like pencil, pen, eraser, and sharpener in a pencil box. Your mother arranges a variety of objects in the house according to their nature and use. A librarian arranges books subject-wise and alphabetically. A chemist keeps different medicines in separate shelves according to their use or specific considerations. Scientists study plants and animals by grouping them under different categories. Doctors treat their patients by considering different groups of diseases. It is interesting to note that such grouping is done because it helps in sorting out the objects, makes it easier to locate any object quickly, that is, saves time, is convenient to arrange things systematically, helps to identify an object, makes study of different objects easier, helps to understand similarities and dissimilarities among different objects, enables us to differentiate between members of different groups. Such a method of grouping similar things together is called classification. In other words, the process of sorting out and grouping things according to some basis or criteria is called classification. This is done on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities between different things around us. Activity 5. Try to classify the notebooks in your bag on the basis of subjects, homework and classwork notebooks. This activity helps you to arrange your bag properly according to the timetable. Natural and man-made materials. We can also classify objects and materials as natural and man-made. Natural materials are those materials which occur in nature on their own and can be used as such or can be processed to make them more useful. Example: wood, coal, silk, cotton, stone, water, wax, jute, etc. On the other hand, the materials which do not occur in nature but are produced artificially by humans are called man-made materials. Example: plastics, glass, nylon, soaps, detergents, etc. Properties of materials. One of the most common criteria for classifying materials is based on their properties and hence uses. Have you ever thought, why is a cooking utensil not made of wood or cardboard? Why is a teacup generally made of china clay, plastic, or glass? Why do the handles of cooking utensils have plastic cover on them? What difference will it make if a tumbler is made of cloth or wood? All such questions can be easily answered by studying the properties of different materials. We generally choose a material to make an object depending upon its properties and the purpose for which that object is to be used. Thus, a tumbler cannot be made from cloth or paper since these materials are not able to hold a liquid. A shopkeeper keeps eatables in transparent glass containers or behind glass shelves so that buyers can easily see these items. Materials can be classified on the basis of physical state, solubility, appearance, texture, hardness, transparency or conduction of heat and electricity, which make their study convenient and also help us in deciding their uses in different fields. Let us try to study and understand some of the common properties of materials. Appearance and luster. The appearance of some materials is different from others. Example: iron looks different from wood, paper looks different from clothes. If we look around and observe the surfaces of different objects carefully, we notice that surfaces of some objects like a steel spoon, coin, doorknob, or water taps shine when light falls on them. These materials are said to have a luster, and are called lustrous materials. Metallic surfaces generally show this property. Gold and silver are used for making jewelry, mainly due to this property. However, some metallic surfaces lose their shine when exposed to open air for a long duration. This shine can be regained by rubbing the surface with cloth or sandpaper. We also find that there are a large number of other objects whose surface does not have a shine or luster. These dull-looking materials such as paper, wood, plastic, cotton and rubber, which do not have shine, are called non-lustrous materials. Look around and identify more objects whose surface is lustrous or non-lustrous. Activity 6. Observe the following things and complete the table. Serial number, materials, shiny appearance, dull appearance. Number 1, steel spoon. Number 2, wooden spoon. Number 3, glass bowl. Number 4, knife. Number 5, cloth bag. Number 6, coin. Hardness. On pressing the muscle of our own or someone else's body, we can observe that it can be easily pressed and changes shape. However, if we press at the head, knees or elbows, they do not change shape and cannot be pressed. Similarly, if we press the surface of an object of wood, steel or stone, it is difficult to change its shape. All these materials and objects are said to be hard. On the other hand, if we press foam, cotton and wool, these materials change their shape easily just like muscle. All such materials and objects are said to be soft. We can also observe that it is easier to cut soft materials but difficult to cut hard materials. Diamond is the hardest substance known so far. Activity 7. Collect the following materials and press their surfaces. Now complete the table given below. Serial number, materials, easily pressed, hard to press. Number 1, iron. Number 2, cotton. Number 3, rubber. Number 4, steel. Number 5, sponge. Texture. Close your eyes and touch the surfaces of a few things. Do they all feel the same? You will find that some of them are smooth, whereas others are rough to touch. Activity 8. Classify the following things on the basis of their texture. Materials, rough, smooth. Table, sandpaper. Glass tumbler, carpet. Stone, paper. State. A material can exist in 3 forms. These are solid state, liquid state, gaseous state. For example, water can exist as ice, solid state, water, liquid state, and steam, gaseous state. These different states of materials are due to the difference in spaces between their tiny particles. In solids, particles are very closely packed. In liquids, particles are close but have a little space between them. In gases, particles are far from each other, having large spaces between them. Properties of solid, liquid and gas. Solids have definite shape, mass and volume. Example, wooden box, knife and candle. Liquids have a definite mass and volume, but they do not have a definite shape as they take the shape of the container in which they are kept. Gases have neither a definite shape nor a definite volume as they take the shape of the container and occupy all the space available to them. States of matter, shape, volume. Solid, definite, definite. Liquid, indefinite and takes the shape of container. Definite, gas, indefinite and takes the shape of container. Indefinite occupies all the space available. Transparency. Transparency is the property of materials by which they allow light to pass through them. Window panes in houses and offices are generally made of glass. A shopkeeper keeps toffees and other sweets in glass jars or cases having glass sides. This is due to the reason that light can easily pass through glass and we can see through it. Such materials through which light can pass are called transparent materials. Can you name any other similar materials? On the other hand, there are materials like wood, metal, and cardboard through which light cannot pass. Such materials are called opaque materials. Can you think of two or more similar materials? There are still another kind of materials through which light can pass only partially. Example, thin cloth, frosted misty glass, and butter paper. Such materials are called translucent materials.
Activity 9.
Look at a glowing bulb through an empty glass tumbler. Can you see the bulb? Put some drinking water in the tumbler and again look at the bulb through the tumbler containing water. Can you see the glowing bulb? Record your observations in both the cases in the following way. Serial number, observation with, whether you could see the bulb, yes or no. Number 1, empty tumbler. Number 2, water in the tumbler. What conclusion can you draw from the observations? What will be your observation if the water is replaced with milk, lemon juice, or tea? Activity 10. On the basis of previous information, classify the following into transparent, translucent, and opaque objects or materials. Serial number, objects or materials, transparency. Number 1, milk. Number 2, water. Number 3, butter paper. Number 4, iron sheet. Number 5, oxygen gas. Number 6, aluminium foil. Number 7, muslin cloth. Number 8, glass window pane.
Solubility. You might have observed that if we put some sugar or salt in water
and stir it well, they disappear in water completely. We say that salt and sugar are soluble in water. Water is called the solvent and sugar or salt are called solute in this case. Let us find out whether other substances like sand, talcum powder, wax, chalk powder, and soap are also soluble in water or not. Activity 11. Take water in 5 tumblers. Add little sand, crushed soap, talcum powder, chalk powder, and sawdust in the water in different tumblers. Stir the substances well with a rod or spoon. What do you observe after some time? Record your observations in a tabular form as shown. 2 examples are done for you. Serial number, substance added to water. Observation, insoluble or soluble. Number 1, sand does not disappear in water. Insoluble. Number 2, crushed soap disappears completely. Soluble. Number 3, talcum powder. Number 4, chalk powder. Number 5, sawdust.
The role of water as a solvent is very important in our life. Some gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide are also soluble in water.
Oxygen dissolved in water is used by aquatic plants and animals for breathing. However, water is not the only solvent used for dissolving other substances. Kerosene oil, petrol, ether, etc. are some other liquids which are also used as solvents. Do liquids also dissolve or mix with water? Let us try to get answer to this question. Activity 12. Take water in 5 tumblers. Add a little milk, coconut oil, ghee, kerosene oil and shampoo respectively to water in these tumblers. Stir vigorously the contents of each tumbler with a spoon. What do you observe after some time? Record your observations in a tabular form as shown. 2 examples are done for you.
Serial number, liquid put in water.
Observation. Number 1, milk mixes with water completely. Number 2, coconut oil does not mix with water and forms a separate layer. Number 3, ghee. Number 4, kerosene oil. Number 5, shampoo. We can see that some liquids mix with water completely. These are said to be miscible with water. Example, milk or lemon juice. Other liquids like mustard oil, petrol and hair oil do not mix with water. Liquids which do not mix with each other are called immiscible. Floating or sinking. If we put different objects in water, they either sink or remain on its surface. That is float. For example, a coin, an iron nail, and a stone sink, whereas a pencil, ice, toothbrush, and plastic bottle float on the surface of the water. Let us perform a simple activity and identify which common objects float or sink in water. Activity 13. Collect 10 easily available objects from your surroundings. Put them one by one in water in a vessel to check whether they float or sink. Record your observations in a tabular form as shown. 2 examples are done for you.
Serial number, substances,
Float or sink. Number 1, plastic mug. Number 2, rubber ball. Number 3, eraser. Number 4, cork, float. Number 5, wooden piece. Number 6, plastic bottle. Number 7, steel spoon, sink. Number 8, pen. Number 9, glass marble. Number 10, cardboard piece. Have you ever thought why objects sink or float? It depends on the density of the objects. The density of an object is defined as mass per unit volume. That is, mass contained per unit volume is called density. The objects whose density is less than water will float, and those having density more than water will sink. Magnetic property. Materials can be grouped into 2 categories according to their behavior towards a magnet. The materials which get attracted to a magnet are called magnetic materials. Example, iron, nickel, and cobalt. The materials which do not get attracted to a magnet are called non-magnetic materials. Example, plastic, glass, rubber, liquids, and gases. Conductivity. Some materials allow electric energy or heat energy to pass through them. This property is called conductivity, and such materials are called good conductors. Conduction of electricity. Some metals like iron, copper, and silver allow electricity to pass through them are called conductors of electricity. The materials which do not allow electricity to pass through them are called insulators. Example, wood, glass, and plastic. Conduction of heat. Some materials are good conductors of heat while others are bad. So we can group the materials into 2 classes on the basis of conduction of heat through them. Good conductors, bad or poor conductors. Allow heat to pass through them, do not allow heat to pass through them. Example, copper, aluminium, etc. Example, plastic, wood, rubber, etc. Signs in the vicinity. A solid metal coin sinks in water because it has greater density than water. Some solids such as biscuits and glass are called brittle as these will break and split if squashed or hammered.